Julie Riga. Julie, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest today.
Super excited about our guest today. I'm doing well, although we have an impending hurricane here in
Yes,
Florida.
well, yeah, you're lucky in the place in Florida. You're not going to get hit as bad as everybody else. And our prayers go out to all of Florida. I can't believe it. Second time. I don't think you guys get hit three times, but who knows?
I
Uh,
don't know, but let's
yeah,
we're
I
we're
have, I have,
praying.
I have another conspiracy podcast to talk about that at a time. But go
All right,
ahead
let's
and
talk about that on another podcast, Neil. But today we
okay.
have Jane Misra, who is a serial entrepreneur, and she's transforming the mobile dog industry by elevating standards and focus on dog grooming's vocational growth and work-life balance, especially for working parents. And through her company, Dog People, she provides grooming services and plans to offer groomer training, van access, and career options beyond grooming. Welcome, Jane, to the Stay on Course podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So excited. So before we get started, Jane, I ask all of my guests, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food is probably meat. I love all the different ways that different cultures prepare meat, and anywhere from Middle Eastern kebabs to Asian sushi. I love all the different variations, and it's always a taste party.
All right.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. Before we get started, just tell our audience a little bit about why you love what you do and a little bit about what you do.
So I own a mobile dog grooming business, and I love what I do because I just feel very called to serve the dog grooming community, and especially the groomers, because it is a predominantly female dominated industry, and these are super, super talented women who have a lot to offer and caring for dogs, and I just feel a need to support them.
That's amazing. Amazing. So, we're going to get right into our three ingredients for success for dog grooming and have a conversation around it because I think our audience is going to be interested in these ingredients. So, thanks for this today. Tell us what the first ingredient is for success.
So, my first ingredient is agility. I think that it takes agility and being nimble just to navigate all of the moving parts in the industry. You have maintenance on a van, you have clients, you have traffic, you have weather, you have employees. There's just many moving parts to keep the day smooth. And if any of those parts change their trajectory, you've got to be able to calmly act quickly and redirect the situation.
I love that ability to calmly pivot. Neil,
Yeah, I mean, I
anything
think
on
it's
this?
anything in the service-based industry where you basically, it's like dealing with children, dogs, right? And their parents, and it's almost like you're a school teacher or doing a service like cutting a child's hair. They have to really know, like, and trust you, and they really have to know that their dog's going to be safe. And you're right, you have to go and do all that navigation because it's not easy because dog owners treat their dogs like
Like
children.
children, exactly.
Totally,
Exactly.
absolutely. So it's the same thing as, hey, you're going to take your kid to your first haircut. Same deal. And
Yeah.
can I trust that they're going to have a great experience? Because if that dog doesn't have a great experience, the next time they come back, they're not going to have a good experience either because it's going to be traumatizing for them.
Absolutely. And there's an entire process that we've had to develop over the years to re-socialize dogs to the process once they've had a negative experience. And it is much easier to take it on the right foot from the start and go slow. And, I have a saying that I often say to my employees and to my children: do the right thing and do the thing right. Because it's so much easier that way than it is to go back and retrain. And
Wow. Right. I just realized that people do treat their dogs like children.
yes,
I've
they
noticed
do.
that there's so many dogs at the mall now and in the baby carriages.
Yes. Yes. I've even seen a cat in a backpack.
I
I
cracked up.
can't put my 95-pound dog in a baby carriage, but I also wanted to like I am strong enough at 6'10" and 285 pounds. I could literally probably pick up my dog. My dog doesn't like me picking him up, but ultimately, you see these little dogs and their little things. So that would be a funny picture, right? Find
Yeah.
one and then a big 95-pound dog and walk around and put it in the mall or something, he's a service dog, but he's a kind of interesting. But you would have he's great with people but cannot stand other dogs, and that's what we're trying to look at socialization of them as dogs,
Oh
other
my
dogs.
gosh.
But see, and that, yeah, I said we're going trick-or-treating and she's like, are you crazy? I said, yeah, I'm taking them out trick-or-treating, but when only the last kids are out, right? The ones, how at the end of trick-or-treating, always the high school kids and
Yes.
there's stragglers come out and it's freezing cold and there's maybe 4 people out trick-or-treating. That's when I'll take them out.
Oh my gosh. Let's get to the next ingredient of success.
So my second ingredient is persistence, because you just have to keep going. Dog grooming is an unregulated industry, and I always compare it to just the wild, wild west, because there's no standards or regulations that have been defined, and you just never know what you're going to come up against. And we encountered it a lot after COVID. There were so many people who left their jobs and during COVID said, hey, I'm going to watch a couple of YouTube videos and decide that I'm a dog groomer. And it takes so much more than that to be a really good breed standard cut dog groomer. It's a, professional vocation that requires knowledge of various aspects of a dog, not just their hair. And so you just have to, keep going and just adjust when you hit road bumps or things that are, not that are less than ideal, which is life. I mean, life will keep lifing and you'll run into all sorts of, circumstances that come up in the business journey.
Yeah, and life will keep lifing. I love that. And we have to be persistent and not give up, because as small business owners, we know how difficult it is to run a business. And then the variable of dealing with dogs and their owners is just a layer on top of it that makes it, I'm sure, much more complicated.
Absolutely. And then after COVID, during COVID, so many people acquired dogs that there was a nationwide shortage of groomers.
Wow.
And so it became really challenging for business owners to meet the demand. And, you had to get creative with, ways to have good employee retention.
Wow. How do you become a dog groomer? Is there a school that you go to that teaches you all the different aspects of this?
There are a few training schools across the country, and then there is a working path that many groomers choose that is through some of the big box stores like Petco, PetSmart, Wolfgang Bakery. They have a training school as well. So there are definitely legitimate ways to acquire the skill and get very, very well trained in the art and craft of dog grooming.
Oh, so interesting. Amazing. And tell us a little bit about the third ingredient.
So the third ingredient is to not take anything personal. And it's just that I really encountered that business owners and especially women entrepreneurs have a tendency to have this is my baby attachment to their business. And sometimes that mentality keeps you from being able to adjust and make the necessary changes because you were just so emotionally attached to an idea or this one way, and it just keeps you rigid. And so I think that you just have to back up and remember that it's business and it's not personal. And if you need to change an idea and modify and be flexible to make a thriving business, and that's what you do. And you have to try to keep your feelings and emotions in check and out of the way.
Totally.
Numbers and business.
And that's the hard part is you take it personal when a client churns or a client just wasn't the right fit. And with you having multiple always customers coming in and out, then some of them could become really loyal to you. And then when they leave or they complain about something, it can hurt you. So you really have to kind of understand it's not you do your very, very best and you do as best as you can, but you can't always please everybody or
Absolutely.
yeah, or everyone have 5-star reviews. Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the beauty of our industry is that we do have an incredibly long customer life cycle, because once someone statistically grooms their dog with you 3 times, you have them for the lifetime of the dog. And
Wow.
then dog owners typically get more dogs. And so on the flip side of not taking things personal, there's nothing that feels better than when you get that call and they're like, "Hey, guess what? We got 2 more puppies.
Oh
Are you
God.
ready to do this again?" And that is, that is the best, because it really is a co-caring relationship that you have for the lifespan of the dog with these people. I mean, we get to really know our clients, and it's similar to the relationship you have with your hairdresser. You become an extended part of the ecosystem and the family.
Yeah, and I can imagine when you work in a community, your name goes flying around because if there's a shortage as well of dog groomers, your name is floated throughout the community and maybe through other towns as well. So there must be a lot of referral service that you get.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing that I feel very flattered and honored when people tell me, "Oh, I was referred by my vet," and or "I was referred by this person," and these are people that I've never actually met in person. They are just referring based on community reputation and word of mouth.
Wow. So the 3 ingredients: agility, persistence, and don't take anything personally. I think that is just great ingredients for success in general, but even more so leaning into the dog grooming industry. Jane, tell us more about what you're working on now.
So the big things that I am working on now is looking at holistic ways to expand in my industry, and I want to revisit the franchise model and groomer training, and just what groomers have the option to do after they groom, because a lot of them end up either grooming for 20 or 30 years and then they want to do something else and they don't know what to do, or God forbid they end up with carpal tunnel syndrome or rotator cuff industry, and then they just need to retool out of necessity, and there's not a lot of options. So I'm trying to create some programs that solve those issues as well.
That's great. And
I
where
love it.
can our audience find out more about you?
So we have a presence on Facebook and also our website, which is dogpeople.dog.
Great, great. Neil, any final thoughts
No,
from
no,
you?
I just think it's a great topic, and the dog industry is as I would go with specifically is I probably $1 billion industry.
It is an
Yeah.
$11 billion industry, and mobile dog grooming is a 700,000. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So you have 700 million. So we got to look at specifically enough how you expand this industry and have the success you've had to help others. And I love some of the things in franchise, as we all know from the McDonald's how they franchised. That's what I'm saying. Franchise. Big fan of the founder. That's definitely a way of expansion, and looking forward to help you in your ventures and stuff. Again, your website one more time, Jane.
Is dogpeople.dog.
All right.
So it is a
That
dog on the end.
awesome. Awesome. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the